Hey guys, I'll be right back. I'm just helping my mom, okay? I'm just trying to, so that everybody can see that. I'll be right back. I'm just creating a PDF for her so she can get a prescription medication covered. If y'all could just tell everybody, because that piece of paper is just not going to show up without ruining. What I was trying to show you was how I did one-word differences in between these CPT codes. But I'll be right back. I'm just helping her try to get a prescription covered. I'll be right back. Come on, kids. Gotta be good. Lord help. Travis has got the scissors out. I'm gonna have a panic attack. No. Cancel, cancel, cancel. Okay, where am I going? I'm gonna share this with Gmail, right? Yeah. Trying to get medications covered for mom. There we go, Gmail. Let's see, M.E. Reagan. Yep. There we go. She never comes in the house till 6:30, and then she comes in wanting stuff. Where do I post what I remember from my test on Saturday? Oh, Teresa, that's awesome. Really good info. Message me on Messenger, or you can email it to me. Whatever you want to do. I do have somebody else's info. Let's see. I've got Christie's. She works on Monday nights and Wednesday nights, so she can't participate in the lives. But she shared some info, too, of what was on the exam. I haven't updated the document yet, of course. Oh, Lord. Come on, Internet. Don't even start. Is it getting a little flaky? I hope y'all can see. Come on, Internet. Don't die on me now. She said there was a COVID question. The diagnosis code was Z20.822 that was on her exam. Tonight, I didn't have time to prep much, but I have yesterday's workshop stuff. We had some questions on a couple of the questions people wanted me to go over, and then some people wanted to know more information, and I don't think it's necessary for CPC exam, but for CCS and stuff, it could be very helpful for those guys. They wanted to know, how do you check or tell what MDM something is with words like, let me get there, let's see, with like fish, PFH, and some other things. There's some, like, how many body parts are in, like, expanded, or how many parts are in detailed, those kind of things. And I've got that info. Hey, MK. Thank you, Leslie, for telling people that I'd be right back. Hey, Sherry. Hey, Stace. Yeah, my mom needed some help. So thank you very much for helping out. How many have we got on? Already 28? Oh my goodness. Big day. So we had a COVID question on Christy's exam. She took it on Saturday in person. And I think she had exam B, because she's describing a lot of things that are on our document for what was on exam B. She had, I'm trying to get to the, I don't know why it's her list in my messenger. She sent it to me on Messenger as being funky. There we go. She had, what was it? What was the one word that made me think that? Phalanx. Remember the finger diagnoses for phalanx? She had that on her exam, and that goes back to my exam A and B that both have that on there. She had a Mohs surgery, or Mohs surgery, however you say it. She had exasperation. She did have the abbreviation ARDS. She had on there, where does blood flow into the right ventricle, which again is something from exam B. She had a question about the islet of the pancreas. Yep, ARDS. Yep, that was on there. Is there going to be a COVID-19 question? Yes, so far, everybody said there was one so far. One COVID, and it has to deal with the diagnoses. I have a document on my website at medicalcodingbyjen.com. If you go to the blog under members only, I'm pulling it up right now on my computer. If I can get the, yep. On my website, I've got this document, do the ink pen method. Come on, focus. There we go. It says COVID-19 updates on my website, so it's medicalcodingbyjen.com. Go to, oh, come on, members only. Go to blog. You'll get here to where I've made some blogs, but this document right here, it even has the PCS numbers for it, but I've got all the new updated COVID diagnoses here for you. So they've been saying there is one, and I have the PCS codes for it too. So just those three you need to know right there. But that's all for COVID. It was just a diagnosis so far, is what everybody's saying. And I have them listed there for you for sure. Christy also said she had a baby that had SIDS, and they were doing that autopsy, and she believed it was on the brain. I've talked about that before. There's a lab and pathology for an autopsy with or without the brainstem. So that was on her exam. She had bilateral ovary removal. She had a question about meth and cocaine as a employment, pre-employment, and then not pre-employment, but it was an employee that had an accident, and then they wanted a drug screen on them. The cocaine came back positive. So there's a lab back there about the confirmatory lab. So when you have a dipstick that turns out positive, you need to send it to the lab to get a confirmatory lab done. There's a code back there about that. There's no example questions in this book. I haven't got any example questions in this book. There's no questions. No questions. All I have down is exactly what's already in the CPT code descriptor. I move it to where it's right underneath the CPT code so that I can find it a lot faster than having to evaluate the CPT code. This becomes very helpful for when you have two excisions, like these two, excision, of. This is a lesion, and this is of a mucosa. So that comes in really handy when you move that information over, so you don't have to I'm sitting here reading, you don't have to go dissect the CPT code descriptors beforehand, but there's nothing in here that's any kind of questions. I just have some muscles listed. Yep, there's no questions. We don't do anything illegal here. In the other videos, you wrote example questions. There's no questions written. I guarantee you that. There's no questions written. Now, I might have coding examples written in, but they are not in question format. There is nothing here that is a question. I have an example of a deviated septum. This is what any normal coder would put in their book when they are starting out working and need to code. And you run into an example, you want to remember how you need to code it the next time you see it. So I have a deviated septum, somebody that needed intubation of the left, and just a few common words from the post-op report or operative report that might have been in there, and how it was realigned in a piecemeal fashion, and then we've got the code that you would use. But there's no question here. There's just a coding example, which you are allowed to have in your CPT book. And then I make one word. Unilateral is helpful. One word differences between the codes when they're super confusing to help out. Jumping back into what Christy said that was on her exam. that she could remember. It seemed there was a lot of QMs and AA stuff that she had no clue about. Well, that is anesthesia. We have modifiers that are needed to be moved to the front of the book in anesthesia, and that are from the HitPix book. So if you move that information to your guideline page where you already have some of your modifiers, the P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6, if you move those HitPix modifiers to this location, that's where she's coming up with her AA and her Q stuff that she didn't know about, but that should be moved. It's in the HitPix spot in the HitPix book, but move it to the anesthesia section in your CPT book, and then that way you'll have it and you won't have to go to other books to look for. She said she had a child that had a lot of abnormalities on the prenatal scans, and the provider recommended DC in the pregnancy, and the parent chose to. So there was a CPT question about how to code that one. She said she had an MRI that was with contrast, and she had our ear surgery, the My Ring, but it was the TYMPAN. She had the tymplasty that we've talked about before, and her My Ring. Ostomy had the general anesthesia. She had the vitro infertilization, and then the strab diagnosis for the eye surgery. Sorry. Let me get that back up. I just hit the screen wrong. We've got our strab surgery for the eyeballs. But I'll get this moved over to our document and share it on Wednesday's live so that everybody has a better understanding of what it was. She did have a type 1 diabetic too, and she's chewing her nails waiting to get her results. So it's in-person exams, so we got to wait at least till Thursday before we see anything on a good day. She did have exam B. I just now read her sentence saying that she did have it. So I thought so. It sounded like it. So that's all good. Can we change it back to the 11th? Oh gosh, people wanting to change their tutoring. Okay, I'll deal with that when we get done. You think we had the same test, you and Teresa? Bless her heart. She's worked so hard. She's done tutoring with me like 3 times too. So I hope Christy passed for sure. Oh, Auntie CC is just so helpful for sure. Yeah, we can look at the drug screen and see how I would code the example. And other video, yep, I did that. You're taking the exam, I told, when it could disqualify stuff. Well, I'm not writing a question in the book. I'm writing a coding example, and that's not going to disqualify you. My book and the way it was written has been so looked at. I mean, many of my mentors have taken their books written up with my notes or their own notes just like mine, and have gone in person with their books, had them checked over. I've even had proctors go, that book looks just like mine. There is nothing in here that would disqualify you. I would never tell you to cheat or put anything in here that would disqualify you from getting any turned away at the freaking door. There's no way. Not at all. Absolutely not. There was one person who, and I think it's kind of funny. I don't know if she'd want me to show you, but she took her online exam this week, and she took it in 2 parts, of course. First proctor went fine and dandy, got on with the second proctor for the second test, and he tried to disqualify her for having notes written actually on the front cover of her CPT book. Like she had like whatever, like AMA stands for what, and blah, blah. She didn't write over the top of their writing. She only wrote on the yellow parts. And that proctor was like, you can't write on the cover. And they're like, yeah, I can. Since when? And so she got AAP on this phone with them, and they told the proctor, she's fine. Let her take the test. But that's the only thing, I've been doing this since April, that anybody has ever said anything to a person about. I've never suggested writing on the front cover, like right here on the front of your book, but she took every space she could. They don't want you writing on their writing because you need to be able to see what they have written. We're not going to be making notes on this unless it's in the little white spots. Like if you wanted to make some notation that group home was on the last CPC exam somebody took, you could put a star on that one because it was. Group home has been on it. And then what was the other thing that has been on there quite a bit? I think it was tribal land. That one and that one have been recently on the exam. But making notes in the available space is nothing more than what anybody else would be doing during their exam. That's perfectly fine. Yep. I recommend writing notes right here. If you have definitions for any compliance or regulatory that you want to write in, the definition of OOPS, or what does Medicare pay for, what is Medicare Part A, and then you could put Part B right here, and then put Part C down here. I solely recommend all that in the front part of this book because it's you got to keep it organized. Whatever you're going to put your notes in, you just need to keep it organized. So I always like to put the compliance stuff in the front of the book, and then that way I keep all the CPT code stuff in the back of the book. But all my anesthesia, we like to do prefixes and suffixes and definitions of what types of anesthesia, your common modifiers. I took, my book's from 2018. Oh, my Lord. I took it in person, too. And, where is my book from way back when? Here's an oldie but goodie. Look at this, 2018. This is the front cover, too. I wrote all over the back cover of this thing. Look at all that. That's the cover, too. I wrote all over it. Took it in person, took this book in person with me, and nobody said a word. And I did the Las Vegas chapter. Yeah. But no, absolutely. If you have questions about all that stuff, it's perfectly fine, I promise. We're okay. But you can absolutely take what advice you feel comfortable with of mine and run with it. The process of elimination and looking for coding irregularities is a wonderful process to learn from me, from my videos. And if you don't want to write anything in your books, that's absolutely fine. You take what you want from me and from other people and make your own way of doing anything for your exam that makes you feel comfortable. I'm just one person, and by no means the law, but I do teach. I am a guest educator for aapc and have taught for them. So yeah, no worries there. Okay, for CPC, is there any billing questions? The questions for billing would be like, let me find you an example real quick. There might be one or two, but it's still going to be related to guidelines that you should know. Let's see, like if a doctor spends 5 minutes on the phone with a new Medicare patient and decides that the patient needs to come in on the next available appointment, are you able to bill that encounter? Those kinds of things like that, they're going to ask you. It's more of a bit easier. It's not going to be like what's the set number for a coding. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think of that thing from last year. I had it down. Sorry, my mind is all over the place today because it has been stressful. Where is that other CPT book? Oh yeah, it's over here. So, hold on. It's good I already made pictures of that page. Just spilt the drink all over. Okay, so they're like a condition code, things like that in billing. That's the word I was looking for. They're not going to ask. They might ask, when do you use a UB form and when do you use the other one, but I haven't seen that question in probably 4 or 5 years. It's been a long time since I've seen that kind of question, so it'd be very limited. They're more interested in knowing who can bill or report seeing patients for like 99211. Would it be providers, nurses, medical assistants, or all of the above? Those kinds of things. They're pretty general on that kind of stuff. Today you did anesthesia. How did you do in anesthesia today, MK? AAPC does tell you to mark up your books. And in fact, you can read in the study guides. Every other page had these coding tips. Go highlight this in your CPT book. Go move this data into your CPT book. Even the front of the book tells you to do that, especially in the ICD-10 book. I wrote on the first page too. It's okay. I mean, she wrote on the cover of her book, but that's okay. She passed. The proctor let her take the test because luckily she took her exam on a Friday when she could get a hold of somebody from AAPC. They were told that they were totally wrong and that they upset their client needlessly and put her under stress during her exam, and they need to leave her alone and let her take her exam. And under that stress, she still passed. She did great. She's shaking her boots today. So that's awesome. She took it Friday, and she got told today she passed. So that's awesome. I wrote the parts of Medicare down too. Hey, Mom. Hey, lady. I know. I was trying. I've been trying. You see, I was late, and I don't have anything prepped. So I'm just trying. I'm trying. I know I was trying. I should have canceled, but I'm trying. I hate to cancel when I promise to be here. It's just was really stressful today trying to get those links out and get Zoom wasn't working, even though Zoom gave me a link and a password and told me to share it. And it said shareable, here you go. And then everybody said they couldn't view the video. So even people got on the phone with Zoom and were yelling at them, and they were like, no, just have her call me. And I'm like, I ain't got time for that. So then I uploaded it to YouTube. But then I made the video private instead of unseen or something. So I had to go in and put in everybody's email addresses. So then I fixed that and resent out the link. Finally got it, but it took me like 4 hours. Please write nothing that is in my notes or you've ever seen in my lives would not ever turn anybody away unless you're taking the exam in a different country. I've seen that the people in Dubai and in the Philippines, for some reason, are told that they have to bring completely blank and unfilled out books. And we've sent emails and discussed that with aapc, and it is not a policy of aapc. It is a policy of their testing facility in a different country. Their testing facility won't let them bring books with any notes in them. And it's a miscommunication as far as I can see. AAPC says that's not the rules, but their testing sites, as far as taking the test in person, just seems to think that all books need to be blank, and I don't know why that's happening, but that's the only occurrence. No one in the United States is held to those standards at all, and it's ridiculous standards, and it's wrong. It's not correct. So we're still working to get all those out of the country sites to, you pay $400 for these books. They're yours, write in them. Every coder in some facility has books full of notes with sticky notes in them. And I know they don't want us having sticky notes in it, and we comply with that for sure. But other than that, yeah, it's silly. You just started billing and coding school today, Ashley. Hope I can help you along the way. Hey, Sherry. From the testing facilities, are you talking about the out-of-country people? Apparently they study at home, like online only, and then they only go to the testing facility just for certification exams. They never go into that building or whatever until that day. And they get an email the night before that says what to bring, and in that list, that's where they find that. And that's just the weirdest thing. One other facility in the Philippines said, don't bring any books, we'll provide them for you. And then the one in Denali said to bring blank books in their emails. So they've prepped and done all this notes and stuff in their books as the books say that you can, as the course says you can, and then they get to the testing facility or the night before and they need new books. It's really hard on them. Yeah, it's pretty devastating, and I'm helping them find a solution through AAPC, but you got to get a hold of the right people. And then AAPC says, well, it's not our issue, and then the testing facility says this is our policy, and then you've got the student stuck in the middle. Like, it's very frustrating, but Here in the United States, you bought and paid for these books. They are yours. Whatever you need as a coder to code correctly for your patients, you are absolutely allowed to write into it. Most of my stuff here is moving data from one area to another, and it's already in the book. There isn't anything fancy that I'm doing. I'll take the guidelines for each section about what they write right here before you get to coding. See, that's going to be like 506, 93. So we're not even on that page yet for those codes, but they have guidelines right here, right before you do it. So I'll go to that 9.3 and move that information to the code so it's not stuck in the guidelines somewhere, that this already includes radiology with supervision and interpretation. That's all I'm doing, is moving the data so that it's easier for me. James Michael, what is Travis up to?
He's still doing that journal thing.
I need you to pick a winner. You want to pick a winner for me? I got a winner. Beth, one of our my mentees who passed this year, bought some of my time to do individual tutoring with people. She bought 2 sessions from me free for people to win. So I got some names down here in a jar. Yeah. And I need kids. I got 2 kids, so I can have both of you just draw a winner. So shake it up, twirl, put your hand in there and shake it all up. So and then you draw a winner, just one piece of paper. Please, love. Who you got? Who you got? Who you got? We got Jolie. She won the first one from Beth. All right. And then I'll get Travis in here in a minute and we'll do the second one. Thank you. And that phone is in the water closet room. Watch him not know what a water closet is. Do you know what a water closet is? That's not the water closet. Nope. Which room in the bathroom has water?
This one?
Nope, that does not have water in there, baby.
Oh, that one. Wait, under, right?
It's not. No. Which room has water? That's not a room. That's a room, yes.
Why is it in here?
To hide. It's a good hiding spot, right? The boys won't go in there, right? Okay, turn out the light, please. Thank you. All right.
I'll tell Travis.
Yep, so hopefully she's on. If you're on, be sure and email me and we'll schedule this. Hopefully we can do it maybe through Messenger or whatever, but you won a free tutoring thanks to Beth. And that was James. Hey, Travi. Okay, Travi's going to draw the next one. So I have a bunch of names in this pot, and you need to put your pen down and shake it up. Shake. Put your hand, no looking, just put your hand in there and shake. Just start shaking. Okay, and then now draw one name out, Mr. Travis. One piece of paper, so we can have our second winner. Who'd you get?
Tricia Stevens.
Miss Stevens. Ah, nice. All right, so we got our 2 winners. All you got to do is get a hold of me, whatever. If you're on Discord, message me. If you're on Messenger, message me. If you're not on either one, just email me, and I'll set up your free tutoring. Y'all get one. Yay. Aw, that was Travi. Yep, we got to get these set up. The boys have spring break coming up, and I'm trying to do something with them because I haven't left the house forever. So I'm trying to do something. They have spring break from the 7th through the 12th, that whole week. I was thinking about taking them down to see Aunt Shy. We would leave the 9th, see them on the 10th, and then come back on the 11th. Other than that, we should be okay. The boys have a dentist appointment on that day, but that's at noon, and then that's about it. That's all I've got scheduled really for the March. But if hopefully we can get you scheduled before whatever class you've got. I've got the rest of the names still here. I'm not going to do anything with them. I'm going to leave them in here, and we'll have some more of these, I'm sure, to draw. But if you want to enter into the contest, all you got to do is, let me find my other phone. What did I do with it? Oh, there it is. All you got to do is click on the TikTok link in the bio. You click on my face, and let's get there. When you get there, you might have to wait till after the live, but other than that, just click there and go to the email one right there and click on that red email and email me with raffle in the subject line, and I'll enter you into the raffles for sure, and I'll keep you in there until you win. Let's see if I go to medical code imagine. There we go. So I can show you some people that did it. Whoops. No, I don't want to go there. But, whoops. Like, you just put raffle in the byline. That helps me out a whole bunch, because then I can just prioritize those emails into that. And yeah, I spilt soda all over everything. Okay. So thank you, Beth, for buying freaking $100 worth of tutoring time for you guys. So that's super nice of her. Super, super, super nice. That is awesome. Y'all's girls' spring break is the week after. Yeah, ours is so early in the year. I was like, geez, Pete. I got a lid for this glass case and everything. So that's our cookie jar. Well, let me get this over here. Put this book back, and I wanted to see, I don't know if I can explain it very well, but we'll try. How many body parts are like being reviewed in an exam for like detailed, or just some more things to do with E&M, because we did that E&M workshop yesterday, and a lot of people really wanted to dive a lot deeper into this and actually know like the heartbeat of all this coding. And I don't think you'll need this information per se for the CPC exam, but if you're curious and wanted to know, like for, let's do it this way. Let me do, come on, pen. Body area is going to equal BA, right? And then we'll do organ system equals OS. So this will make sense in just a second. So if you wanted to know in problem focused, right? You see that a lot in E&M. Equals how many body areas or how many organs are reviewed. Do y'all think this will be helpful? I think so. For problem focused, we're only going to have one body area or one organ. Is that helpful? Should I continue or is this boring? I don't know if y'all think this is cool, but somebody was asking for some of this stuff, so I can do it really quick. Yeah, okay. So expanded, problem, focused, okay, good. Expanded, problem, focused equals 2 to 5 body areas, or also with the organ systems, same number organ systems. So let's say they're looking at, they're tapping the liver. You know how they lay you down on the bed and then they do that tap, tap, tap on the liver to check for the size of your liver. So you've checked a liver, right? You've listened to their heart. You looked in their ears. And you look down their throat. And then you looked at their feet. Mix it like just their feet for a body area. You've got organs here. Looking down their, checking their liver, looking down their ears. You could either do that's a body area or an organ, but your ears, those kind of things. But that would right there would definitely be an expanded problem for their sore throat or whatever they were here for, probably URI, but who knows. But there you go, there's that. And then let's go to detailed. Detailed is going to equal really close numbers, 6 to 7 body areas or organ systems. This is just a fine line. Just one or two more can make a difference. 5, you're going to be expanded problem focused. 6, then you're going to go into detailed. If you're doing comprehensive, comp, we know is going to be 8 plus for body area or organ system. Oh, cool. In the study guide, let's see. Could be. Let me see. Where's my study guide? Some people don't have the study guide. Where'd I put it? And all right. She's saying 273. This book has not changed much. I don't know what year you have, but I have 2019 here in front of me. But yeah, they do have that table there. So that's kind of cool. But they do not update these books, let me tell you. Even if you can find an older version, it's perfectly fine. They don't update them. Even the questions are the same. So, and they just resell it for $150 every year. I guess when you create the will. Anyway, it's a little different. You have the 2022 version. Most of it is now going to be probably electronic version because it's cheaper that way, and they can still charge you the same price. But I just go off of what is on page 11 in the CPT book, which is in the 2021 book. It may be page 10. They explain it all here on that green page, and I just refer to it whenever I get ready or need to if I don't know it already. Another thing that could be helpful if you're looking to code somebody's history, because you know you have your history, exam, and then your MDM, right? Those are your three components. So if you're going to code history, what does problem focus look like? What does EPF look like? What does detailed look like? And what does comprehensive? So, on problem focused, for comprehensive. Okay, for problem focus, there is no history, actually. Expanded problem focus, that's because the problem started now. I'm coming in to see you now because this new problem has arrived. It wouldn't have any history, like I have a sore throat. How long have you had the sore throat? 2 days. It's not getting any better with tea. That's not like history of for a long time. Unless you have history of sore throats off and on for the last year and you're constantly in every month for it, then you've got something going on. But expanded problem focused is also no history. In detailed, you have one history, and in comp, you have 2 established histories or 3 new things. So for your exam, and like I said, I don't think they're going to ask you any of this in the CPC exam, but this may help you to handle questions like I had in our workshop yesterday that were a different level, like your history was a different level, then your exam was a different level, and then your MDM was a different level. It might help you see why we would code a certain way based off all this information. Anyway, exam problem focused, and then expanded problem focused, detailed, and then comprehensive. So problem focus on the exam, you're going to have one issue, right? You have one sore throat, right? Expanded, you're going to have 2 to 5 areas that are having some sort of issue. Detailed is your 6 to 7, which is the same numbers we got up here, guys. And then our comp is 8 plus. Same thing as I wrote all the way out like that over there. Other things, let's see. How about write this longer because MDM is bigger monster, right? MDM. We have things like minimal, and we've got different categories of what can be minimal. So MDM, so number of diagnoses is under one kind of category, right? And then we have, this is the number of items reviewed, like test results and stuff. IEW, come on, spell right, Jennifer. All right, and then there is the risk, and then there is the type. And what I mean by type is if it's going to be straightforward. So this will tell you how many diagnoses are going to be like straightforward, how many are going to be low complexity, how many are going to be moderate, and how many are going to be high. So, straight. I don't know why I'm spelling it out when I could just do the abbreviations. Okay, low, moderate, and then high. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah. Okay. And then so the risk right here for straightforward, oh Lord, I should really have some lines probably if I'm going to do this. And I need a pen that will write. So we've got straightforward, we have low, not enough room, high complexity, okay? So our straightforward is probably going to end up being like, and I'm going to write over here, how many, this is just going to be 0 to 1, this is going to be 2, this is going to be 3, and this will be 4. But we'll add those numbers based off this stuff this way. You'll see it in just a second. So risk is how much risk are we, if we give a patient something or tell them to go home without treating them or tell them to take over-the-counter meds, there's just minimal risk, right? It's just minimal. And then this one is going to be low. This one's going to be moderate. Same thing. And this one's going to be high. Now, examples of what is going to make a minimal risk is like just telling a person to go home and rest. Take or give them a bandage, a Band-Aid. Those kind of things make for a minimal risk. I hope that makes sense. And then the low is going to be like telling them to take over-the-counter meds, right? There's a risk, it's elevated than just telling them to rest. If I give them instructions to go buy something that's over-the-counter, it's chemicals, it's something, there's a little bit of risk, but not much, right? Moderate is an RX, pills, right? We write them a prescription. It could interact with anything. It would be a written prescription or transmitted to the pharmacy, or a fill of a prescription. That's why all of our prescriptions are underneath there, are underneath the 99214s, right? And then high is if we elect for surgery, right? All those, if we tell a patient that we're going to do surgery tomorrow, or your cath isn't working, we're going to go back into surgery and fix it. Those kinds of things. Any kind of surgery is going to be involved in that. Also, like chemotherapy, any kind of drug therapy, like chemo or radiation. Those kind of things will elevate our risk. Yep. And not all IVs, most, but if they just need, well, if they're severely dehydrated and need an IV, maybe, yeah, could be very much so the IVs, because there's a risk of introducing some bad mojo there. All right, for the review, we also have a minimal, right? We have a limited, which is for the low, a limited. We have the moderate here, and then we have our extensive. So examples of items that you might see as AKA terms, if the review was minimal, you're just talking about routine labs like a urinalysis, a plain like chest x-ray, something like that. Super simple. Even as a limited ultrasound could even be there under minimal review. Just reviewing transcripts from a radiologist about simple things like that. You know, like OB ultrasounds, those kind of things are just minimal issues to deal with. What you would see with limited amount of complexity for reviewing items in the patient's chart, it would be like a biopsy, but it'd have to be like superficial. So, superficial. We're not talking any cancer or anything like that, but just a superficial biopsy. You may have taken some skin tags or a minor little thing off of somebody's skin, sent it for biopsy, and it comes back and you got to review it. And that's a limited issue. If it was a moderate issue, it would be a biopsy, but it would be a deep one that needed needles and sutures, those kind of things to handle that kind of stuff. And we're talking about deep sutured, so it would be a layered closure, right? Layered. Extensive would be like cardio stuff, cardial, chemo reports, resections, those kind of things would be involved in here. The numbers of diagnoses haven't changed. It's still going to be the same sort of stuff. So it would be one self-limiting, simple diagnosis, not a medical diagnosis. Not like hypertension. Self-limiting means one prescription will cure it and it will never come back. Just one self-limiting thing. To be limited, it's going to be 2 controlled. So we're talking like hypertension, those kind of things, just super easy. They are controlled well enough with their medication and nothing's exasperated, right? And then the number of diagnoses here can be 1 chronic with exasperation. You have that non-compliant diabetes patient who eats at McDonald's 4 nights a week. Their hemoglobin A1C is always 10 plus, you know. You just can't get it under control. It's just the way they're always going to be. And then your extensive diagnoses will be circling the drain, right? They're going to have multiple chronic. They're going to have like TIAs, history of strokes, history of end-stage renal disease, even a transplant will always get a more extensive or higher thing. But good gracious, maybe I should type up something like this so that it could be a lot easier for you guys to read. But that'll help out with trying to figure out what your MDM could be when you don't have it given to you, looking at the diagnoses, looking at what they reviewed in the chart, looking to what prescriptions, if any, were written. That'll help you figure out if you're straightforward, low, moderate, or high. Yep. You like that? Good. I'm glad. And hopefully that helps. Sometimes it's easier to write it out and just show than anything else, but I can definitely try to find some time to get something nicer typed up, like I do my one-sheeters, and do something like this with the diagnoses listed and stuff, so y'all can just have it and view it anytime on our Discord or something. But y'all, the examples that I did on yesterday for coding some stuff was really cool for our E&M workshop. I'll just repeat these 2 examples. So if we had a history with an EPF, expanded problem focused, right? And we're in the codes of 99242. That's good. If our exam equals expanded problem focused, then we're going to be at a 99242, right? And then if we have an MDM at, and we got another 99242. If we look at our CPT code for that, 99292, how are we doing on time? Is Twinkle on? 99242. Alright. So what I'm trying to help with is these guys right here. Yep, page 28. Very good. So if you were doing these and you ended up with like one problem-focused history, and the same patient you have an expanded problem-focused exam, and then the same patient you had a medical decision-making that was low, that was down here with this one. So you have one of each one of those components in a different CPT code. What are you going to do? Because you have to match 3 of 3 to be able to code a CPT code. The ones that you don't have to, that are 2 of 3, you can always get rid of the lowest code and then code from the 2 that you have. But when you have 3 of 3 that have to match, what do you do in that situation? Go low. You got to go way low. This one's pretty nice and easy because we have all three matching up. We got straightforward and problem focused. They're all exactly what the 4-2 says. 4-2 says expanded problem focused, and straightforward. All three bullet points are met on this one, so we know we can build the 99242. That's super easy. But what do you do when you got a situation like this? We've got the history the doctor took was an expanded problem focused, and that equals our 99242. The exam equals detailed, which equals a 99243, and our MDM equals moderate. He did that many organs, he did that much of a complexity, and he got a 99244, or she. So what do we do in that situation when you've got one patient being seen today and you need to code them a level? And this is a 3 of 3. You have to have all three to match to be able to code that level. You have to meet or exceed the criteria to be able to code a particular level. So what I do is just think of them as numbers, and I think of like 2 will go into 3, 2 will go into 4, but 3 will go into 4, but 3 will not go into 2. 4 can go into 4, but it cannot go into 3, and it can't go into 2. So I just kind of think of them as numbers. The only number that can go into all three, even just looking at them as numbers, you could if you had fractions, but we can't have any fractions. We can't have 3 go into 2. It's just not enough room, right? 4 can't go into 2 because there's not enough room. You can't take 4 balls and put them into 2 slots. You can't take 3 balls and put them into 2 slots. But you definitely can take your 2 balls and put them into 3 slots. You can put your 2 balls and put them into 4 slots. You'll have 2 slots left over, but yep, our code that we would bill for that day would end up being the 99242. What's handy is when you're at a code that doesn't need 3 of 3 and you're at 2 of 3, and you get to just delete the lowest one and code between the 2 highest ones. Yeah, they took that out. That's why they took that out 2 years ago. So 2020, no, 20, what year are we at? Yeah, 2020, they took out those bullet points on those first diagnosis, or those first CPT codes. And they, for some reason, just put in the wording that says the appropriate history and appropriate examination. They took that out. It's in every other code in the book like that, but then they took it out of the whole front of the book. I I went back to the 2020 book where that information was and wrote them all down. So we had a comprehensive history, we have a comprehensive exam, and we have a high level of MDM. And I went back and put them all on here. And I also put the 2 of 3, or if it was 3 of 3, because it's not noted on these. And I made copies of these notes, the first 3 pages of the CPT book, available for free on my Discord app. So all you got to do is join that Discord. Oh, we got babies. Oh, yeah. We got 2 that passed today, by the way. We have, I know I'm getting distracted, but look who we've helped today. We helped JoJo pass today. And we had, who was this? Who was our other one? Our other one passed today, too. She let me know on Etsy that she passed. Her name's Teresa. That's it. Teresa and JoJo both passed today. Okay. But if you go to my Discord app and you go to CPT Book Prep, right there, my room that is CPT Book Prep, I have those 3 pages right there for you so that you can copy my notes from me, so you can write in your own bullet points however you want to. The Discord app is super cool because this is our main chat room, which people are excited about our person who passed, of course. And then if you click the the dots, the 3 little lines, we've got practice rooms with practice questions. We have exam day prep info, E&M resources, all kinds of rooms. Even if you want to practice CRC questions or CCS, COC, CPMA, you want to sell your books, you want to get med terms, you want to look at my anatomy pictures. I put them in there for you guys so that y'all can get ideas on what to add to your book. Super cool Discord group, and everybody's super helpful. Even job resources and CEUs after you finish and pass. So that's all free too, along with my TikToks lives, which are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6:30 to 8:30. I do 6 hours of free CPC exam training or exam prep. I like to specialize in just the info that is needed for passing the exam. That's what I like to teach. I know a lot of people really want to get like maybe homework help with their course, which I can do. But gosh, I hate coding. But I like passing exams, and I can do exam passing for sure. And I know what you need to do and what can help you for passing the exam for sure. That's what I have fun doing, is teaching y'all how to attack those practice exam questions and get them done as fast as possible. That's what I like doing, but I don't mind doing anything. Whatever you want to do in your one-on-one tutoring. People have me do all kinds of things. And sometimes I just sit there and listen because they just need to talk about how frustrating it is and vent about everything. And we have just a counseling session, and that's perfectly fine too. But tutoring and showing people how to answer the questions without reading them is way fun. That is just so cool when that happens, especially when they start taking off and doing it all on their own and answering them without reading the questions. They just think it's the bee's knees, and it's super fun. So, yeah, I like that. That's super great. Let me see. Go to the resources. I was trying to show you. That is the schedule for the free TikTok lives, too, by the way. And then I did my very first workshop yesterday, and we did 3.5 hours of nothing but E&M questions, and that was super fun. But I did get a lot of questions like, how do we code this in a more depth way, which isn't really going to be neat. This will be needed for the CPC exam, but what I did with that MDM chart and stuff like that, that detailed really technically won't be on there, but it's good information to absolutely know for sure. I mean, it helps you. Anything that helps you get to where you can understand this is helpful, because you'll have a couple of questions where they've messed up and done history one different way, the exam a different way. Usually it's just two that are missing. Two will be the same, but it'll be a 3 of 3 and you don't know what to do. Which one would it be? It's usually not too difficult like this one, but it'll be where two of them are the same number, and then what do you do? So they don't make it too bad difficult, but it's always fun to learn. Oh, I'm so glad, Annie. I'm a reading. Why doesn't... Oh, yeah. So I answered that one, Debbie. Yep. We went to the book prep. I feel so much better about E&M. I'm so glad, Annie. I wish I could find you during my aapc course. Yeah. You got a 92. Amazing. I don't know how you watched all those videos and did all that tab work and then did the thing that says, now it's your turn. Oh my gosh, I would skip all the videos, all the PDFs. I wouldn't watch a dang thing. I would go straight to the review questions and do the review questions, and then I would do the chapter quizzes, and that's it. That's the only two things I would do, and I'd go from chapter to chapter. And I'd really work those questions, find out why they picked that answer versus another answer, and figure out and make notes in my CPT book about why they picked that answer. And that's all I would do. I would never watch those videos. And that PDF is the same thing. Those PDFs are your, is the study guide. These are your PDFs in the freaking course, you know, as you're watching all those things. I keep turning into questions, but this is your course. It's just these in a PowerPoint presentation. It's everything that's here. I remember, yeah, the course is just page by page. This. Remember the 5 videos on the hierarchy of doctors? Like the one with, this is a extern, or this is what an intern is, or this is what a CRNA is, and blah blah blah. It's like, oh God, it'll never end. Yeah. What part A, part B, part C pays for. That's your course, is everything that's in the study guide. It's just in PowerPoint form. Oof. 92, amazing. I bet you did used to cry. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yep, you can take a whiteboard during your exam. If you do it online, if you do it in person, you get to write on your exam booklet, and I think they prefer that. But if you do take blank pieces of paper in with your exam, to take it in person, they'll take away all your pieces of paper when you leave. All that stress, and then you found it all on YouTube. Yeah, all their questions, everything, every quiz, every review in the course, it's all on Quizlets too. You can find the answers for each chapter and just fill in the blanks. Hey Ange, how's it going? I was just explaining some E&M stuff. So yesterday's workshop, I was showing them how to code if your history is different from your exam, from your MDM, and then yeah, for aapc, yeah, all the all the answers are on everywhere, all over the internet. You could just copy one question, like the first sentence that says, "This is a 73-year-old man with a fractured whatever," paste it into Google and you'll find Quizlet pops up with the answer instantly. Also, if you know those long dissective notes that you have to code where they show you this one, it opens up another window where you open up a window and it's a full alt note, and then you have to code it on the next tab. If you click into that next tab that opened up and copy the URL, post it into a new internet browser, but then take out 3 letters in that URL, you'll get the answer to pop up for you instantly without having to look it up. Then you can go back into your course and fill in the blanks for the answer. I figured that out during the course, but anyway, that's craziness. Annie, we also did MDM. We dissected it. What would be a self-limiting thing for MDM, like lab work, UAs, x-rays, rest in a Band-Aid. If you needed to do MDM for a limited issue, it would be like controlled hypertension maybe, and maybe a superficial biopsy or over-the-counter meds and they can go home and rest, that kind of thing. We did that, and then I did the other ones. So like how many body areas and how many organ systems are in each one, like problem, focus, expanded, detailed, and comp. That's it. And I did it for the history and I did it for the exam too. Let me get a drink. I'm losing the voice. But that E&M workshop was really fun, and I've got 1 million people wanting to look at the repeat live, and I made it private for the people that bought the workshop. So I'm like thinking about doing another one, but I know people want workshops on like cardiology or something else, but we ended up having 70 questions just on E&M alone, practice questions, and that was a whole lot of fun. I'd have to put together something else for another section, which would be great and fun, and I'm look forward to it, but I think a lot of people really want me to repeat the E&M again. So I was thinking about maybe March 19th doing that on a Saturday instead of a Sunday this time, just so that people that can't do it on Sunday get a chance to do it on a freaking Saturday. I don't know. But I'm working on it, finding some sort of solution. Cardio and musculoskeletal on a Saturday. Just looking at some of the questions from last night, seeing if there's anything that was fun. I know people really wanted to, like, on some of our questions, the first CPT code was different in all the answers. And, you know, when you're doing the exam, right, and every single CPT code is different, and you pick out an answer like A is the answer for this one, they were kind of wanting to know, well, what is the second code, or what's the third code, or what's the fourth code? That doesn't matter in the process of elimination and picking out the right answer. If you've got the right answer, don't waste your time during the middle of the exam to look up every code after it when you've picked out the first code. So that was a little challenging to let people know that I'm not teaching like coding, like we're not going to sit there and code every single answer in every question. We're just here to find out the answer to the question as fast as we can, and that's the techniques that I give during this. This is a good example of one of those that was the detailed, the comprehensive, and the moderate, and they were all in different areas, right? We've got detailed history, we've got comp, and then we've got moderate. Usually it's comp, moderate. What do you do when one of them's lower? That was good. Those are good examples. But I think it was this one right here that somebody asked, well, what's the second code? Well, it don't matter what it is. You just need to find the right answer, because the first code right here should be your focus. And since every single one of them is different, don't go looking after you've picked out which code it is, because there's clear indications about which one it is, right? You've got a 20-day-old in NICU, right? And as long as you've picked out the right first CPT code, you're not a coder during the CPC exam. You are an exam taker, and the coding's been done for you. So as long as you have the correct answer in the front, doesn't matter what comes in the back, and it's a time saver just to find the right answer and move on to the next question. Yeah, we had a lot of baby problems for that one. Yep. A was our answer for this one, of course, for our baby in NICU, and that's our only NICU one for a 20-dayer for that one. And it doesn't matter what the heck that 933 is. It doesn't make a hill of beans. You just need to pick out the right answer for the very first code, since they're all different, and move on to the next one. Super helpful tips. This one, everything's different. Love it. Yep, that was our 15-year-old who came into the doctor's office. Well, the doctor couldn't see him there. After he did a urinalysis and checked his blood pressure, or blood sugar, he sent him to the emergency room. Well, just to the hospital, to get a direct admit by him, and he was going to come see him after the visit. So the pediatrician cannot bill for a regular office visit for that. He's just going to do for his direct admit. The office staff doesn't get anything for their blood pressure or blood sugar, I keep doing that, and their glucose. They don't get to bill anything for that. Yeah. Just knowing some of those guidelines like that is super helpful for the exam. Knowing the differences between the new patients and then the established patients, that's half the battle. We've got our returns, right? So the patient's been there before, then you know you can get rid of anything that's new patient. Then all you've got to do is decide between those two codes. Those kind of tips are super helpful for the exam, for sure. And that's what I like teaching, because when you get your certification and you start working somewhere, it's going to be different everywhere you go. You're going to code based off their guidelines. And there was even a question at the very end that I did last night that was just super, it's very interesting, because one question up here for that we did in E&M says you can't code, of course, a regular office visit when you do a direct admit, right? And then the very next question was a direct admit, but they only wanted you to code the office visit, which you can't do, but that was the only answers. Just back to back, the CPC exam is more of a make-believe scenario, not real-life coding guidelines. It's more of, if you were faced with this, do you know how to use the book to come up with the right answer? They just want to know if you know where to find the right answer. And it's not that that coding scenario is correct. It's just that you know how to answer the question correctly based off what the book tells you, even if the scenario is wrong. So that was quite interesting. But we had one question that was actually 100% correct for real life coding. Out of all 70 of those questions, one question was very direct and very honest. I'm trying to sit here and find it right now. Here it is. Yep. I think this is it. This is it. That was actually true to what real life situations would be. And it was this one. So we got a 12-year-old presenting for a sports physical. How do you bill for a sports physical? Very simple enough question. But this is the only, honest and true question that is really pertaining to real life scenarios you might see in real life after you get your CPC. All the other questions, 69 of them, were just fluff, and that's exactly what they're meant to be. They're meant to not test your coding capabilities because the exam's coded for you, but do you know how to utilize the books appropriately for the correct answer? Meaning, do you know how to use the parenthetical notes, that kind of stuff, for sure. What do you got? Yep. If you were in the workshop yesterday, everybody got this one wrong. There wasn't anybody that said it was right, right? I'm so glad too, Sip. I'm so happy to help. Everybody got this one wrong, but it's actually this one is the right answer. And MK was there yesterday. And hopefully the video playback is good for you too, because I made sure your email was in there. But it depends on the payer. And that's true and honest, and it also depends on the practices, policies, and procedures. Some people have to pay a flat fee for sports physicals. They come in, pay $25 and out the door. They don't even bill insurances. Sometimes you can bill for sports physicals. There is a CPT code for that, but a lot of health plans won't pay for it because it's not a medically necessary thing. But technically, it should be. I mean, we have students pass out on the field from heart attacks, but they had an unknown heart condition. You should get them, it should be covered, but anyway. Yep. Yep. But that was fun. That was really fun for that stuff yesterday. Let's see. The other thing I really recommend, guys, is when you... Let's see. The other thing I really recommend, guys, is when you're doing your CPT book, is to look at your pictures and add to them. Even add the functions to things. So I looked up dorsal nail view on Google, but I put the word function behind it and then found out what all these little pieces do to the nail. Why are they there? What's the reason for them to be there? I do that on all the pictures, especially the front of the sections for like ears and eyes and all that kind of stuff. Super helpful for the digestive system. We had 3 questions that were answered on our CPC alone exam based off this section right here, because they ask about what's in the small intestines, what's the order of the small intestines, which ones are accessory glands is one of our questions. That can all be found right here on my notes on page 342, just from this one area. Don't neglect your pictures in the front of your CPT books right before you code sections. That's super helpful too. We don't have to worry about HPI, ROS, or FPC. No, not for CPC exam, not at all. I've never seen a question about any one of those, but I will put that down. I was trying to remember what everybody was saying. HPI, review of systems, and then PFSH, that they wanted to review. Let's see if I got anything worth a darn. Oh, don't forget about your kilograms for your babies. Page 61 of the CPT book. For E&M, we've got our inpatient hospital for our babies, and it goes by grams of weight, but your questions will have pounds and ounces, so be sure and have a converter on that page. Unless you know how to convert ounces and grams by heart already, of course. A review of systems. Let's see. The review of lives. All I've got, well, the body organs and the organ systems can be tied to some of that. Minimal, moderate. But we're really stretching it with this stuff because they've not ever asked anything about those on the exam. I mean, the review of systems is about how many organ systems and how many body parts you are reviewing. So when you're doing the review, right? Now, if they did a history, they're telling you they did a history. If there's no history listed, then you know you're in a problem-focused or an expanded problem-focused area. But if they did a detailed, it will absolutely say in the question, detailed history or a comprehensive history. They'll say both those words if they're in this area at all in the question. Yeah, I don't see anything else in my notes about any of that. Just remember always, always, that's the word SEVERE equals always high complexity. Always. So if they ever say high or extreme, severe exasperation, it is always a high complexity. Other than that, I mean, even just knowing the body areas is not really needed, but if you're trying to do an MDM without the MDM and you only have that they had a UTI, this sort of helps. You know, how many body organs are we looking at? How many systems are we doing? So like if they came in for an expanded problem focused, they came in for an ear infection, but they also got their liver tapped or their hearing, you know, down their ears, down their throat, those kind of things. Since they're diabetic, they also looked at their feet. Who knows? You could get there. Trips for passing the exam. Yes. Don't read the questions. Number 1 is the absolute best. Let me bring up a question real quick. Absolutely. Do not read the question. When you see these questions, like this is exam question 1, don't read a word of the question. Go do the process of elimination, which means you go straight to the answers. You look for similarities only in the very first CPT code that you're working with. Look there first. We see a similarity right there. Hey, there's Twinkle, keeping me on track. So we get rid of the 84 and the 71 simply because they're not the same as the 273s. Then you can realize what they're asking in this question. They want to know if we can add radiology to this or not. Don't go look here. Don't go looking there. You're going to go to the regular CPT code and find out if you need to add radiology or there. Most people make the mistake of going to go look up this code, which is radiology, and then you go to your question and find out whether there's radiology or not. Well, yeah, there was. Then you're going to pick that, but you didn't go look at your CPT code to see if it was included. So always start out with this code, the 365. We'll go there first. 365 73. Which is on page 312. And we'll find out if this includes radiology or not, right? You look at the parent code, which is the 72, to find out. So MK is saying that her answer is A because she went and looked up probably the 36572, right? You got to go look at the parent because this code is a child code. And all it simply says is age 5 or older. So you got to remember to go look up at the parent code, which is the 72, and you find that radiology, supervision, and interpretation, blah, 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 is all there. So then that's your answer. And you can do this super quick, within 15 seconds if you do the process of elimination and you know how to look for coding irregularities. But you can't find out if radiology is included there, so you have to go up to the parent, which is 72. But that's still super easy. Easy peasy to do. We got this one. These are all super, super close too. Three, 6, 4. 364, 68. Our injections. For our spider veins or varicose veins, what are we doing? We did this one the other day. We're doing varicose veins. So that has us skip down to either the 70 or the 71 are our answers. Are we doing single or multiple? All you got to see is that we are doing S. She has varicose veins, not 1, but 2. So we know B is our answer. Yep. Yep. Let me skip you down because I think we did these recently. Let me get down here to some of these that we may not have done. Yep, multi. Anesthesia. So we got a difference between the 400s and the 300s, right? We have to figure that out first. Then we can eliminate 2. So our 300 our baby blue pages. It helps to have those HitPix codes moved over too. So our differences are neck and chest wall. These, don't look at the CPT codes for the differences when they're separated by categories. Look at your main headers. This will help you out a whole lot. We're at neck here, right? And we're here at chest. That's easier than looking at the CPT codes. I love it when they're when they're messed up, when they're separated by the headers. So we are doing the chest. So we know we can get rid of those. Then the next thing we only need to look for is the MAC is in there because we know our QS is MAC. What's our QX? We look back at our page 77 where we wrote in all the anesthesia ones. So we're looking for a CRNA. So you're just going to search your question for CRNA, and we do have it. So then you know your answer is A. Yep. That's it. You do have MAC, and you know, obviously we've got the S in the other one in the same ones. So that's it. Super easy. Love it when it's like that. Take you 20 seconds to do that. Then you'll be able to, and it doesn't matter that it's medically directed. All you needed to do was look for the CRNA because MAC was in both remaining answers, and then all you needed to do was look for that abbreviation. That's it. Didn't matter what kind of CRNA, anything would have worked. And then move on to your next question. We got radiology for our bone density thing. So these are cool because they're all separated out. They're all different. So our 77075, they all have very distinct differences, which is great. Our 75 is radiology. Right? It's a radiograph. Our 78 is a CT. Our 80 is a DEXA. It's supposed to be a DEX, D-E-X-A. And then our 81 is underneath the DEXA. So it's just a child that goes along with it. So what are we doing? We're doing a CT. The only one that has a CT in it is C. And then we move on to our next question. These tactics will help you get through that exam. Don't read the question. Just go figure out what's the differences between the codes first, and then search your question for the answer. Super helpful. What's the differences between all these? 92601. Is that our first one? 26. How are we doing on time? We're close. We'll do this last one. 92601. And then I'm going to go get some lasagna and garlic bread if the kids left me any. And then I got to come back and do book prep because I can come do it online. I've got to finish up digestion and get some more stuff going. What?
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. You have uncanny ability to come in here right at times over with. You smell like perfume. What do you got going on?
James, he has that man perfume still. You bought him.
I love you.
Love you.
I'll be out in just a minute.
Okay,
62601. So we got evaluation of therapeutic services. We got a diagnostic for the cochlear implant. We got a diagnostic. So is the differences are the ages, right? One of them's younger than 7. This one's the younger one. This one, the 3 is for an older one. We've got older. Then we've got subsequent reprogramming, right? We've got, and the age differences are the age differences, right? So the 3 is for, yep, and then the 4 is subsequent reprogramming, and the 2 is for subsequent also. But one of them's diagnostic, the other one's diagnostic. Yeah, just the age differences. So how old is our kid? Our kid is 10. So our kid is 10. Our 1 and 2 are younger patients. So we get rid of the 1 and 2. We're going to keep the 3 and the 4 because that's the older patient, right? Are we doing subsequent reprogramming or the initial reprogramming? Cochlear implant. She's coming to check the pressure on the magnet. So that looks to me like that is going to be our regular old 3. Looks like she is getting programming. Placement of the cochlear. She recently had it implanted. So what happens is you get this sucker implanted and they don't turn it on. They implant these things and they need your body to heal first. And once you heal in a couple of weeks, they'll bring you back and then they'll turn it on when you're not, completely under sedation and don't know what's going on. They just implant it and then they have you come in after you're better and all coherent. Like you can't drive for however many days after you have anesthesia. Those kinds of things still hold true even in children. You don't want to turn on something and have them under anesthesia and waking up in a different state of mind. So you definitely want to send them home, get them better. And usually I think it's 2 weeks that they bring them back and actually turn this on and do the programming. So, yeah, that's what they're doing here. That's why it's the 03. But I hope that's helpful. I'm going to go get some lasagna. I'm going to come back and we're going to work on finishing up that digestion section. What page am I on here? Let's see. Yep. How many more do we got? Not too bad. Not too bad. We're going to start on page 359. I already have it highlighted and all the red do nots done and the page numbers for the out of sequences. All I got to do is write the differences between the CPT codes and mark our modifiers if there is any. So I'm going to go get some lasagna and I will come back. I hope this has been helpful. Yep, I'm going to record the book prep and I will post it on my website where I've got the other two for digestion on there, and I'll record this one. This recording will be on YouTube for the repeat questions and stuff like that. Yep. Hey, Auntie Cece, it's good to see you. And don't forget, we got 2 winners, just in case. These lucky ladies won free tutoring with me. So be sure and email me. Travis drew 1 and James drew 1. So y'all be sure and email me. And we had 2 people pass their CPC exam today. So that was good news, Teresa and JoJo. So that's awesome. I'm wishing the best for everybody else, and I'm thinking about doing another E&M workshop around the 19th, but I know everybody wants a cardiology one too, so I just got to prep the info for it. So as soon as I get me around 70 questions gathered just on cardiology, and some of cardiology will be in medicine because cardiology goes from cardiology section to medicine section. You know, we still got all those shunts and stuff back there. We even have a category 2 codes sometimes are in cardiology, so we might end up with 100 questions to do in a workshop for cardiology, but I'll be prepping for that and let you know when I can do that. Yeah, lymphatic too. Yep, it's crazy with all those questions. Yep. But I'll get something prepped and let you know when we can do that. But for now, let me finish the CPT book and get this digestion done. So I will see y'all back here in just a little bit. Thank you for all the loves. We got 2,000 likes tonight. No shares, but that's okay. It was very unprepped kind of night. I will see y'all in just a little bit.